Welcome to lecture 2 of Python module. In this video, we will be covering what are Python keywords, identifier, comment, variable and data type, and finally we will see how to do type conversion. Now I assume that you all have set up your Python on your local computer or on Google Colab. So let's begin. So let's see what are Python keywords. Keywords in Python are predefined words that have special meaning and purpose within the language. These keywords cannot be used as variable name, function name, or any other identifier because they are reserved by the Python compiler. Using keywords as identifier would lead to the syntax error or unexpected behavior in your code. They are specifically designed to serve specific purpose in Python language and they have predefined functionalities associated with them. Now let's see what are the keywords which we have in Python. For that, let's type this particular code in our Google Colab. Now import is a word which we use to import module. Keyword is a name of module which has list of all the keywords. Now keyword, this is a variable which we have created which will store all the values of KW list. Now KW list is inside keyword which has list of all keywords in Python. Therefore, when I'm printing this keyword variable, I'm getting all the keywords name in list. Now example of keyword are false, none, true, and, as, break, class, continue, def, etc. Now let's see what are Python identifier. Identifier in Python are names given to variable, function, classes, or any other user-defined entity. They are used to refer to these entities in the code. Identifier must follow certain rules. They cannot be a keyword. They are case sensitive. They must start with the letter or underscore, and they can contain letters, digits, underscores. Special symbol and white spaces are not allowed in identifier, and it's very important to choose meaningful and descriptive name for identifier to enhance your code readability. So let's see the examples of what kind of identifier name we should and we should not give. For example, we are taking variable name as from. Here we will either have syntax error or our code logic will change. Here we are getting syntax error. Why? Because from is a keyword and it cannot be used as a variable name or identifier. Now here I am creating two variables which has only one difference. Here v is capital and here v is small. Since identifier are case sensitive, both these variables will be treated differently. Now this will again throw us an error. Why? Because this variable name is starting from digit 9, which is not allowed. Now in this particular code, variable name is completely okay. Why? Because this is a combination of underscore, letters, number, and this is not starting from number, so perfect. Here we are getting an output. Now in this particular example, we will get syntax error. Why? Because we are using white space, which is not allowed in identifier. So we are getting syntax error. Now in this particular code, we will again have a syntax error because we are using special characters which are not allowed. Cannot assign to expression here. Okay, now let's see what are Python comments because we will be using it throughout our series for better explanation. Let's see how. Now comments in Python are lines of text that are completely ignored by the Python interpreter. Comments are primarily used for two purposes. Either to make code easier to understand. What do I mean by it? Comments serve as documentation within the code, providing additional information about the purpose, functionality, or logic of code. They help other programmers, including yourself, to understand the code more easily and quickly. Using comments for debugging. Comments can also be used for debugging purposes. By temporarily commenting out some section of code, you can isolate and identify problematic code. Comment allow you to disable specific lines or block of code without actually deleting them. Now we have two types of comments, single line and multi-line. In single line, we want to comment out one particular line which can be achieved using hashtag symbol. Now what if we want to comment out multiple lines together? One option is to put hashtag symbol before every line, but this can be hectic, right? So instead of that, we can actually use triple inverted commas in the beginning and at the end of the line, and in between content will be commented out by itself. So when I'm running out this code block, you will see that I'm getting no error. And since name variable has Python and I'm printing this variable, I'm getting an output of Python without any error. Why? Because the rest of the lines are actually ignored by the Python interpreter. Similarly, when I will be running this particular code block, I am getting an answer of 2 plus 3 because rest of the things are commented out. They are ignored by the Python interpreter, so they are not included in logic. Now let's see what are Python variables and data type. In Python, a variable is a container or storage area that is used to store data. We can assign a value to a variable using the assignment operator equals to. Data type in Python define the category or classification of data. Each data type specifies the kind of operation that can be performed on the data and the methods available for manipulating and working with that data. Now, some of the examples of data type is numeric, string, boolean, list, tuple, dictionary, set. Now, let me explain what I just said. So this is a variable and this is a value which I have assigned to variable using the equals to operator. Now this value has some type associated with it. Is it string? Is it boolean? Is it numeric? What it is? Now according to the type of this value, I need to manipulate or will perform some operations on it. For example, I cannot perform addition on two strings, but I can perform addition on two numeric value. So this is what we mean. So num1 is a variable, 5 is a value, but since this is of integer type, this is a numeric data type. So let's walk through some of the examples to get clear about the data type and its variety available to us. Now in this particular code, we have three variables, num1, num2 and num3. As you can see, I have given different values to each variable, but I'm not declaring the data type of each value. Why? Because Python is a dynamically typed language. So when I will print my variable, is type of simple formatting for easy understanding, and then I will print the type of num1. Now what do I mean by type? What it is? So type is actually the function which returns me the data type of variable I pass into the parenthesis of it. So here I am writing type and inside its parenthesis I am passing num1. So this will return me the num1 data type. Similarly, I have done for num2 and num3. So let's print this code and let's see what kind of data type these variables are. So 5 is of kind int, 2.0 is of float type, and 1.2j is of complex type, and int, float, complex together is known as a numeric data type. So now let's see what is Python boolean literal or data type. So I'm creating a variable result1 and then assigning true value to it. And then I'm printing this variable and I'm getting true as the output. Why? Because I'm getting no error even though this is of type text. But this is not a string, this is actually keyword. Remember we saw true, none, false in keyword list? So true and false together is known as a boolean data type. Why? Because we are using them in logic. Now we also have string and character data type. So by character we mean single character, obviously which we have on our keypad, and string is actually the collection of characters together. So when I'm printing this variable, this is giving me no error. Now you might be thinking that what actually we are doing. We are doing nothing, but we are actually seeing in this Python basics video how to declare and assign different kind of data type. So now you see that numeric data type, we simply have to give values to the variable. In boolean literal, we have true and false and we have to write like this. For strings, we declare them inside the inverted commas. You can use single inverted commas or double inverted commas, not an issue. When I will run it inside double inverted commas, it will still get printed. So let's see special literal, which is none. So what do we mean by none? None means nothing in Python. So for example, we have names of student, There's a student whose name is nothing, and there's a student who has not given his name. So there's a blank or silence in our data. So we will be assigning none to that student whose name is not entered, and nothing will be considered as some value in Python. So when we have nothing in Python, we need to assign none to it to avoid confusion. Now let's see what is list data type. List is the ordered collection of similar or different type of item separated by commas, and it is enclosed within the square brackets. Now it's very important for you to notice how we are declaring different kind of data type. So for list data type, we will be using square bracket, and what it is a ordered collection of similar or different type of item. Now when I'm saying ordered collection, that means every item inside list has its position assigned. Therefore we can use indexing for it. If I want to access some item inside list, I can use it using indexing. Why? Because this is an ordered collection. So in this code, we have a variable language which is of list data type. Why? Because I am using square brackets. Now inside list, I have three items. Swift, Java and Python inside inverted commas, which means I have string data type inside list. Now I want to access list 0th index value, which is nothing but Swift, and also language second index value. Now why I'm writing 0 and not 1? Because indexing in programming language starts from 0. So Swift indexing is 0, Java index is 1, and Python index is 2. So when I will run this particular code, what I will get this as Swift and answer of this as Python. Now let's see what is tuple data type. Now tuple is also an ordered sequence of items, same as list. Therefore, we can use indexing in tuple as well. So the only difference is that tuple are immutable. You cannot modify tuple. This is immutable. So how to create tuple? We will be creating tuple using the round brackets. And since this is also an ordered sequence, we can actually use indexing here as well. So product variable is of type tuple. Why? Because we are using round brackets. And it has Microsoft, which is of string data type, Xbox, which is again of string data type, and then float type or numeric type. Now I want to access 0th index and 1 index using square brackets in front of variable name. So this is how we actually access element using indexing. This is simply the syntax. So this is the answer I'm getting for these two lines, Microsoft and Xbox. Now let's see what is set data. So set is an unordered collection of unique item. Since this is unordered, there is no concept of indexing in it, and we have unique item in set as we read in math. Now this is my variable, my set, and it is of set because we are using curly braces in it. So now this will all have unique element even if I write duplicate items in it. For example, like this, right? And when I print my original set, my set, you will only see that I have unique elements in it. So in original set, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. Even though I have duplicate elements in my original set. Now we can have different methods in each data type, which we will see in different video altogether. But here is an example of it. So my set is of set data type, and I'm using method add in it. That is 6. So I'm adding an element 6 in my set, and when I'm printing updated set, you can see that 6 is also getting printed inside it. So this is all about set. Now what is dictionary? So dictionary data type, Python dictionary is an ordered collection of items and it stores elements in key value pair. Now every element inside dictionary has two things, key and value, which is separated using this colon symbol. So in left of colon we have key and right of colon we have value, and every element inside dictionary is separated using comma, and we are declaring dictionary using curly braces. So this is the syntax. So capital city is my variable, of type dictionary. Why? Because we are defining variable like this. So one thing which you need to keep in mind is that you can use key to access value. Therefore, like as we do it indexing, we use index to access value inside list. We will be using key to access value inside dictionary. So in a similar syntax, I will be writing capital city, and inside square bracket, I will be passing the key whose value I want to access. So as you can see, our output is Kathmandu. Why? Because Nepal is a key of Kathmandu. But you need to keep in mind one thing, that vice versa is not possible. Therefore, you can access Kathmandu using Nepal, but you cannot access Nepal using Kathmandu. Now, what does that mean? That if you have key, you can access value. But if you have value, you cannot access key. So this is what this example is showing. So I have declared same dictionary as above, but this time I'm passing value instead of key. And this will give me an error, key error, that I don't have any key named Kathmandu. Okay. So type conversion in Python involves converting data from one type to another. Now these are of two types. Implicit conversion, which is also known as automatic type conversion. It occurs automatically when Python converts one data type to another without explicit instruction. For example, when we are adding an integer and a float, Python automatically converts the integer to a float before performing the addition. And what is explicit conversion? This is known as a manual data conversion, also known as typecasting. It is performed manually by the programmer using inbuilt function or constructor. This allows for more control over the conversion process. For example, we are converting integer to string using str function, or we are converting string to integer using int function. So let's see example of each one of these. So implicit type conversion, that is automatic. So we have two variable, integer number, that is 1, 2, 3, and float number. So this is a variable name, that is 1.23. Now I'm creating a new variable, new number, and adding both of these numbers together. Now one is of integer type and one is of float type, but you can see that when I'm running this code, I'm getting no error, even though I'm performing operation on two different type of data. Why? Because Python implicitly converted integer number into the float data type and then performed addition over it. So when I'm printing the value of new number, I'm getting 124.23. And when I'm printing the type of new number using type function, I'm getting float as an answer. So why Python has converted int to float and not float to int? Because we want less data loss. If we are getting 124 as an answer when float is converted in integer, don't you think that we have certain loss of data? 124 is not as accurate as 124.23. So Python always converts smaller data. We get type error if we try to add string and integer. For example, when we are adding 12 with 23. Now here Python failed. It cannot convert 12 to integer by itself. So here you need to actually convert integer to string or string to integer explicitly. So here I have two variables. One is of type string. Why? Because we are declaring it inside inverted comma. And one is of type integer. Now when I'm printing the data type of num string before typecasting, it will return me string, right? Now let's do the explicit type conversion. For doing it, I will be using the function int. Inside int, I will be passing the variable which I want to convert into int. And then I can give this entire value into a new variable or existing variable, that is num string. Now when I will be printing the data type of num string, it will be of integer data type. Why? Because I have done explicit type conversion. Now since this is of integer type, I can perform addition in num string and num integer. So this I will be doing it in num sum, and when I will print the value of num sum, it will give me 12 plus 23, which is 35. And also when I will print the data type of num sum, it will be of int data type. Why? Because both of the numbers which we are adding is of type int. So that's all in this video. Let's revise what all we went through in this particular video. First, we saw what are keywords. So keywords are the reserved words in Python which have specific meaning to them, and we cannot use it as a variable name, function name, or any other identifier. Identifier is just a name which we give to variable, class, method. We have certain rule. It cannot be a keyword. They are case sensitive. There is a sequence of letters and digits. However, this should not begin with letter, and it can begin with underscore. White spaces and special characters are not allowed. Now, what are Python comments? So comments are completely ignored by interpreter. It is used to make code more understandable to different programmers, and also for debugging we have single line and multi-line. For single line we use hashtag, and for multi-line we use triple inverted commas. Then we saw about Python variable and data type. Variable is just a container in which we store our data, and data type is a type of data which we are storing. We have numeric data type like int, float, complex. We have Boolean data type, float, that is true and false. Then we have string and character. They are declared inside inverted commas. Then we have special literal, which is none, which means nothing in Python. Then we have list, which is declared using square brackets, and they are ordered collection, therefore you can use indexing. Tuple is also ordered, therefore you can use indexing, but this is immutable, therefore we cannot modify it. Set data type is an unordered collection and has only unique items. Duplicate items are not allowed in data set. And what is dictionary? So dictionary we use curly braces like we use in set, but this has two values in each element, that is key and value, and we can access value using key, but vice versa is not allowed. So then we see type conversion, which is one is implicit, which Python does itself, and it keeps in mind that we have less data loss in it. And then we have explicit type conversion, where we use functions like int and str to convert one data type to another. So that's all in this video. Thank you.